Big fella.
All right, we're live.
Oh, are we live? Oh, guys, we gotta start our show.
Clean it up. Save that for after the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought it was Wednesday all the way up until like 10 o'clock today.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's Tuesday. It really threw me
How
off.
would that change your day?
I just thought we were further along in the week.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're kinda
mindset
we're getting
type
through.
of thing.
Nonetheless, great show for you lined up. We've got a couple things. One segment I want to be maybe a little recurring. Who likes nostalgia?
Hey, man.
You guys
We love it.
Do we like to go back and
You missed an episode, Adam.
You missed Nostalgia Corner last Friday.
relive old seasons?
Yeah.
Today, I think we're going to go back to Jokic's rookie season. I got some notes for you guys. We'll see what you remember.
Nice.
And, you know, we have a lot of fans that like joined later on. And you know,
A lot of bandwagoners.
yeah, I want to take it back to, hey, do you guys remember these humble beginnings?
Yeah.
But a majority of the show today is more on the current Denver Nuggets. And that is, of course, the big question we've danced around. Who should stagger with the bench? What is that? The age-old question. Is it one person? Is it two? Is it a different guy? We're going to talk about that. And I actually think it'll make a very good conversation. Help me with that, Harrison Wind.
What's up, fellas? We are not in Studio B. We're in the studio.
The studio.
This is the studio.
all its
No
glory.
A or B. We're on equal footing here.
Presented by nobody.
The
At the moment.
studio.
At the moment.
Think that beer's still good? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Just curious.
Definitely not.
but-
We're probably a little flat.
You might enjoy it.
Broncos training camp is in the lounge.
The thirsty one over there. Brendan Vogt.
What's up, fellas? How are we doing? I have a boring answer for this question, but I bet we're going to have a very fun conversation about it. And it's cool to almost, sort of, slightly turn the page towards some basketball to come. I'm excited about this roster.
I believe, and I'm not sure the exact date, but I believe we are now 2 months away from Media Day. 2 months away.
Nice.
Close enough for me.
Isn't
Let's
that
go.
crazy?
Yeah.
Nice.
And in between there, Eurobasket. So
Oh, that's right, man. What a treat.
we're both in the dog days, but also like we're coming over the horizon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little false summit action right now. We're like, oh, I think I see the summit. Not really, but
Do you guys watch?
getting closer.
Have you guys ever heard or seen the rewatchables?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was voted a top, or I don't know, voted, but it was named the top 100 podcast.
We never
ever.
talked about this, by the way, but
Yeah.
that was a wild list. Go on.
I love that podcast, but my favorite thing about it is Bill's fluid and stubborn definition of Apex Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to say that's us with dog days. We refuse to put it. It could be any time of year that any one of us is slightly. I digress.
We went over this almost the entire year of the dog days.
that's-
You have
Just one long day in
opening
the
week.
dog days.
Opening week, you've got Christmas. You've got like the trade deadline and then the playoffs. And
then the
everything else is the dog days. But this is the dog days of summer. And I just want to dive right into it, guys, because there's a lot to get to. The Nuggets have the deepest roster, perhaps, of the entire Jokic era. Erwin?
Let's go.
Thank you, Kale.
I'd agree with that statement.
I think it's actually true. I just think it's an actual factual statement that the Nuggets have more options at their disposal off of their bench than ever before. And so it begs the question of, does anything need to change? Or is it problem solved? Like, just do everything that you've been doing. Now, a couple things to set the stage here. Michael Malone was the coach for the last 10 years.
Good point.
He's not the coach anymore. And Michael Malone had this trait that was very unique to him. 5 starters play a lot of minutes together. 4 starters play a ton of minutes together. And then your bench plays a ton of minutes with just one starter. Usually that would be one Jamal Murray. And most teams don't do that. They stagger a little bit more. It hasn't worked in the last few years. Let me give you some numbers here that'll blow your mind, Harrison. You ready to be blown? Jamal Murray.
mind.
No.
Jamal Murray. You're ready for your mind to be blown.
Yeah. It's a tough cliffhanger. You know, wrap that sentence up.
Jokic off the court, Jamal Murray on last year, -2.5 net rating, which was not good, but kind of sounds not that bad too.
Sure, yeah.
You could have convinced me it
Not
was
bad.
-4.5. I would have said.
Well,
yeah,
you must be thinking about 2024 when that was -14.1.
That's bad.
No, that's not good.
That one's really bad. Maybe you're thinking about 2023 when it was -6.4.
Not great.
You might be thinking about 2021, but until he got injured, -4. So kind of like last year. You have to go all the way back to 2020. Murray on, Jokic off, plus 3.8. Now, what happened that year? Your bench was Mason Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, Monte Morris. That's a pretty good bench.
Yeah.
So part of me, if I just give you that data, -2.5, -14, -6, -4, plus 3.8, that's in this reverse order. Is it possible that nothing's broken? It's just, what do you expect Murray to do? They're trying to carry guys that weren't ready for the moment. But this year, there should be 2 or 3 veteran players that know what they're doing. And Jamal Murray can carry that group to a plus 3.8.
Plus 3.8 seems like a lot. But I know they did it back in the day. I do think naturally, if you have, the same mindset with the second unit, what Michael Malone did, what David Adelman, it's just the same. You're coaching it the same. Everything you're teaching is the same. If you just throw better players out there, yeah, I think you'll be a little better. I think naturally, without changing anything,
right,
you will be a little better.
So, and this is the big question. I mean, it's one of the most interesting questions I have, Vogt. It's just, how does David Adelman think about that? He was the offensive coordinator. I have to imagine he had some input in the rotation. So I think, to me, it's one of the most interesting questions of, do you agree with this? Or do you think the Nuggets just need to kind of blend slowly so it's never 4-1 in either direction?
The rotation and the approach. I mean, we know Adelman was the offensive coordinator, but it's not, you still are operating under a head coach. So to what extent are your hands untied to be as innovative as you'd like to be, right? So I guess my point being, still a question in the air of how much might Adelman diverge from what we've seen stylistically. We just honestly do not know the answer to that question.
We really don't.
So there's both sides of that. I do think, just on surface level, yes, this is looks on paper like a potentially competent bench. That if it was just Jamal Murray, I would think that net rating is going up. I'd be shocked if it didn't, honestly. Even if it's not, it's not going to be this. It looks great on paper. Some of these guys have had rough recent years. There will be patchy performances. They are an NBA bench, right? Not a starting unit. But I think their ability to avoid drowning and suffocating, I'm bumping it up like 20% just on paper.
On the Jamal question, though, here's an interesting one for you. I just thought of Bones Highland in 2022, leading the bench unit. Jokic off, Bones on, -2.2. Mm-hmm. So better with Bones in 2022 with JaMychal Green, Austin Rivers, that crew, than last year Jamal with the group, which is kind of interesting. So I think some of this is Jamal gets scapegoated, because it was tough lineups he was playing with. But also I think we have enough of sample size to say, I think he might just not be the type of player that can carry that.
Yeah, or just needs some help. And even if it's not another starter, maybe just a better bench. Murray talked a lot about, there's a lot of talk about screen setting in the playoffs from the guys this year, and like just the sort of nuances and subtlety of how it's different depending on who you're playing with. And just given the nature of Denver's backup big options in offense, just wonder if literally Big Val setting a pick creates a different dynamic.
Well, I think offense has been the biggest problem with the bench, more so than defense.
Agreed.
And if you just look at the offensive upgrades from last year to this year,
right,
you go from DeAndre Jordan to Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big upgrade.
Hard to argue.
You go from, I don't know, Julian Strawther to Tim Hardaway Jr. Yeah. That's a significant upgrade.
It is, yeah. It's kind of just like if Julian Strawther was who you wanted him to be.
Yeah. And, Russell Westbrook, Bruce Brown, I think different types of players there. Bruce Brown probably just gives you a little different dynamic. But just if you think about the offensive upgrades, the spacing, the more shooting.
Right.
Like I said earlier, I just think naturally you're going to be better even if you have the same approach.
Let's start with this then. Let's go to what would be the default. If Michael Malone were still the coach and given this roster, this would be the default. Kel, do you have the first stagger lineup? It would, of course, be Jamal Murray, right, Bruce Brown,
Two-Face,
one of Tim Hardaway Jr., Julian Strawther. I think that's like a position battle in many ways. Peyton Watson at the 4, Big Val. And you could even throw Peyton Watson in there. Maybe you would go with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Strawther at the 4. I just don't think so.
That seems like a bit
I think
much.
that's a little much. Plus, you have good shooting here in Jamal, Bruce. You really only need one more shooter. If you had one with Tim Hardaway and Strawther, that's like 4 shooters, no defenders.
Real quickly, can I propose go back to Brooklyn days. I think he hated it, but could Bruce play power forward in that scenario if you're going smaller? And then it's Julian at shooting guard. Again, this is not my preference.
I also think that if Bruce is playing 20 minutes a night, 22 minutes a night, we'll say, whatever it is he playing all of those at power forward? And if you go with that rotation, probably not. So I think this is the default where
I think you're right.
4 guys are sort of penciled in early. Now, could Peyton Watson lose out to Zeke Naji or to De'Ron Holmes? Absolutely.
Right.
But I would anticipate that the Nuggets probably slot him, whether they'll admit it or not, probably slot him in as, we hope it's you.
Yeah,
we hope you're
sure.
good enough to be in that spot. And so we first start there, Murray, Bruce, shooter, P. Watt, Val. I like the shooting. Bruce and P. Watt give you defense. You have a true big in Val. You have a point guard in Jamal Murray. And to me, it's like, you know what? I kind of like this lineup. I don't think it should struggle to score. If this lineup struggles to score, we have a problem.
Yeah. And to me, Valanciunas is probably the key here. Like, to have his offensive presence in the paint, that's something the Nuggets really have never had in the Jokic era. We went back to Mason Plumlee a second ago. Mason Plumlee was not a good offensive player. He was a lob threat and a rebounder, and that's about it.
Passer.
Late stage Boogie really is I think a guy you could throw in there.
But even Boogie could not get buckets in the paint like Valanciunas has the last couple of years. That is just like an offensive paint presence that they have not had. That weapon, I think, is the biggest thing that's single-handedly going to improve the bench.
It's funny you say that because I just went to check on Bones' stats without Jokic and without Boogie, minus 4.2. So that number went down. It was with Boogie, he was a +1,
right,
which weighs it up. So I didn't even think about that, but you're right. He was a big part of why that bench was good.
It was short-lived and it was weird, and it was weird off the court. So it's a weird one to talk about because they moved on, but it did kind of work a little bit.
Yeah. And it was just him doing stuff by himself.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins being really good. Well, it's like Bones and DeMarcus Cousins both are like good individual players, and they could do stuff.
They made it work.
But this one here, Murray, Bruce, I like that backcourt. Bruce becomes your defensive guy, and he's as a secondary ball handler, I think he's at least par. Like, I think as a primary ball handler, you start to worry.
Me too.
But secondary, he's great. Tim Hardaway Jr. or Strother, to me, should be great shooters. I mean, Strother's still a little TBD, but I think he'll be great, especially in this configuration. And they both can dribble as third ball handlers. It's like, that's pretty good. And so now you have P. Watt, who probably is just playing in the corners here as power forward. Hopefully he works on his shot a little bit. I don't know how much they're going to give him to do, which I think if you're P. Watt, that might be concerning. And Val. So I just look at this and I go, I think that this lineup makes sense. And if they just run it back, I think this should be or is likely to be the default setting. This is likely to be how the Nuggets run their rotation.
Okay. So you want them to go with that approach?
I want them to experiment throughout the entire year because I think, and not just like, someone's hurt, we'll put somebody in. I think they need to figure out who they are because I don't know that they know. Some of these guys need to develop by being on the court, and you need to give Strother, P. Watt, you need to give those guys opportunity. But to me, this feels like the default, and I just think it's a good lineup. I also think, real quickly, if you're talking about these guys coming in, that means you're likely playing Jokic's entirety with AG and CB. Probably the two best Jokic guys, maybe even Cam Johnson, a lot of heavy minutes. Yeah. And I think if you just look at any of the numbers last year, Jokic, CB, AG, those lineups all crush.
Yeah, elite for sure. No, I think that bench lineup has the ability to maybe go even. That bench lineup could win its minutes. Absolutely.
You would think.
Yeah. Again, P-Watt in a not... There is a path to success, but it's not just a clean open road.
I agree.
Yet again. And again, some of this is you make it work, you seize the opportunity, but it's not, P-Watt's not a natural power forward. I think it's how you get him into this rotation. And the other options are Zeke and Duran, so it might very well happen. But again, it's not exactly the smoothest transition for P-Watt from sort of rookie scale player to rotation contributor.
And I think the lineup works, even if for P. Watt, he's clearly the fifth option here because Murray's option number 1. Val's probably number 2. You're going to give him a lot of touches. Bruce is probably has free reign to be aggressive.
Tim Hardaway's out there, man.
And then you're talking about Tim Hardaway Jr., Julian Strother, who are scorers. It's like you might not get more touches than P. Watt, but you definitely have a greener light when you get the ball. So P. Watt, I do think it would be negative for him and his own individual offensive development. Sure. I don't know how, we'll see if that causes problems, but I do think a lineup as a whole, he would bring the defense they desperately need in that lineup. For sure, yeah. And it could work.
It could work.
So I think that's where we're going to start, the default one. Let me know in the comments while we go to break here. Let me know in the comments, because now we're going to talk next about a CB stagger, Cam Johnson stagger, Aaron Gordon stagger on the other side.
Shout out to Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. They've got everything you possibly need. If you're driving in Colorado, if you're driving in other parts of the country, 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. They've like the Epic 4Runner. They got more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. 16 different hybrids to choose from. They got SUVs like the RAV4, the Grand Highlander. Whatever type of terrain you're on, Toyota, they've got you. Trucks, cars, SUVs, the Tacoma, the Land Cruiser, the 4Runner. So many different options. The RAV4, the Grand Highlander. If maybe you drive in the city, drive in the mountains, do both. Make sure to visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain State Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets, the official vehicle of the DNVR. Let's go places, man. Toyota, they are your go-to.
We've been talking about Cake Mortgage on the show lately, and you probably heard us talk about DSCR loans. You're confused. That is a debt service coverage ratio. DSCR loans are designed for individuals who wish to invest in real estate. With Cake, the DSCR loans are calculated by dividing the property's monthly rental income by its monthly mortgage payment, making things easier for self-employed and investor clients who are credit-worthy but misunderstood by those traditional banks. Cake makes getting a DSCR loan simple and fast based on cash flow, not paperwork. Again, this is for real estate investors, self-employed credit-worthy borrowers who don't show much taxable income but can swing the down payment, anyone who wants to scale a rental portfolio without W-2s or tax returns. So if you've always dreamed about owning income property or you're building your own real estate legacy, call 1-800-EAT-CAKE or head to the link in the show description, because life is better with Cake. Cake Mortgage Corp, equal housing lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, back here, segment 2, DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Everybody stop what you're doing, throw a like. Joel in Philly, could be anyone, could be anybody, he has a good comment here in the chat. He says, with all those shooters on the floor, P-Watt should be open a lot. I actually like this one. So one thing that about P-Watt, I don't think he's Aaron Gordon, but could he become more like Aaron Gordon functionally? Could he be a guy that plays the dunker? He obviously played there a lot last year. He's not a great finisher and all these different things. But it would be beneficial to him to be able to be like interchangeable with AG, because then in playoff rotations, you could slot P-Watt in with Jokic, you could slot him in off, whatever as needed. So there is something there. So while he probably doesn't get the ball to do dynamic stuff, he might feast in a spread offense where he's just along the baseline finishing everything.
Yeah. And I mean, he had some good moments in that spot in the playoffs. He hit some big corner threes in the playoffs.
Right.
And he did. He was pretty good from the corners last year overall, I think. So, I mean, he's shown flashes for sure.
If P-Watt truly does fix his shot, and you're talking about Murray and either Tim Hardaway Jr. Strother, okay, A+ shooters.
It's perfect.
Bruce and P-Watt, if they can just be B+ shooter, catch and shoot guys, you actually have elite spacing now, and that lineup should fly. So maybe I think that's a strong hope. Let's go to the CB stagger. Okay. Kale, do we have this one? Bruce Brown, point guard, Christian Brown, shooting guard, Tim Hardaway Jr., Peyton Watson, Big Val.
You know what I like about this lineup? No mutant hybrids. Everyone is 100% a human being, not combined with anyone else.
That is true. Very true. What's good about this lineup is it's better defensively than the last one.
Yeah.
It's obviously much weaker as like your main guy. There's no Jamal here. But again, maybe that's not a loss. You play Jamal more with Jokic if this lineup can survive. But that's a good defensive unit with just enough shooting.
I was going to say not a lot of shooting, but then I was also comparing it to lineups from last year. And it's way more shooting than we had last year.
It's definitely more shooting.
That's a good point.
CB of the stagger. Here's the thing. I just think CB is such a great Jokic player. It's hard for me. But here, if you are running the stagger, that means you're likely playing more minutes with Jamal Murray with Jokic, which is obviously a good thing. Those lineups all crush. And maybe it even means you're getting more like stagger with one of the shooters. So Jokic gets a little bit more super offense lineups.
When CB comes off first to eventually get here, is it Bruce coming in with the starters in this scenario?
I don't know if it matters.
Just curious.
Yeah. I would guess not, because Murray would probably, it's a good question, actually. I don't know. I don't know who gets the extended run with Jokic. Is the
to
question.
me, I mean, if I had to pick anybody just to play the most minutes with Jokic, it's Christian Brown, in my opinion. I think out of maybe anybody on the roster, his game elevates the most when he's on the court with Jokic, and without him, I think it probably drops the most.
He also does a lot of the things you need defensively. I mean, I think
he is great defensively.
I think the best lineup Denver had last year was Aaron Gordon, CB, and Westbrook around Jokic. And it wasn't a ton of minutes. I think in the playoffs it could have gotten tricky because of the shooting. But defensively, it gave you 3 great defenders, including 2 on the backcourt.
Yeah.
And I think part of this is like give Jokic good defense in the backcourt and he'll make everything else work.
And then I just think about CB in transition.
Right.
And obviously playing off Jokic on the fast break, that's one of his specialties.
This lineup to me is, I wouldn't fear it, but I would be surprised if this became the one.
Yeah, me too.
Just because it doesn't have a true, like, Bruce isn't a true ball handler, and then you didn't give him any outlets.
There's what it almost feels like kind of doubling down on the defense and then get in transition thing. Not on the Val part per se, or the Hardaway Jr., but you have 3 guys out there who in theory are the 3 best or 3 of the best, AG included, defenders on your roster. So it just sort of wonders if it's kind of leaning into the athleticism a bit, get some stops and run, and then with 2 kind of veterans as pillars out there.
Mm-hmm.
I do think this lineup would remind us the most of last year, where when it works,
Adelman's not beating the allegations with this lineup.
with this lineup, where it's like, oh wow, they just got 5 stops in a row and they scored 1 point.
Yeah,
out of all of these fast breaks they created. So I don't know if I love this one. I'd be a little surprised. This next one's more interesting, Kale. And that is Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson, the stagger, P. Watt, and Val. And what I like about this is Cam Johnson just played this role last year. He played the role of I might have to be the number 1 initiator. It might have to go to me a little bit and let me be more aggressive. So he's already familiar with it. And it gives you P. Watt and Bruce as your defense, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Cam as your spacers, and obviously Big Val. I would not be surprised if this was an option.
I like this one a lot more. Just 2 dead-eye shooters in Hardaway and Cam Johnson. Bruce can probably handle the ball handling duties against other bench units. And then, the front court solid. So I like the spacing this would provide. And you got good offense there. And you've got defense, Bruce and P. Watt. So it's well-rounded.
Cam Johnson, no worries. Does he play power forward ever? Just curious.
He does, yeah, he can. I mean, I don't think it's like P. Watt, probably best at the 3, can play the 4.
Right. So in a little, the thing I was going to say about Cam in this scenario is he's actually gotten a lot of minutes as find some points for yourself in a suboptimal lineup situation under his belt. And then I laughed as I thought perhaps better than a large handful of lineups he's played with in Brooklyn.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually not that bad. That is like a default bad. Brooklyn lineup.
Yeah.
It would be interesting here. The only thing I don't like is I think Cam is going to be a great Jokic player as well.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me that's like him being the stagger anchor means fewer minutes. And I don't know if I love that. But this lineup does, to me, also makes a lot of sense. It has a lot of scoring. I think offensively it'd be fine. Peyton Watson would actually probably be, some teams, they're just 2 forwards. It's almost like neither of them is the power forward. It's where is the best offensive player on the other team? He's a 4. Okay, Peyton, you're a 4. Yeah. Oh, he's a 3. Peyton, you're a 3. So it kind of works a little bit interchangeable there. This lineup intrigues me, though. I think this one would have some juice to it.
Yeah, it's well-rounded. Offense, defense, shooting. You got everything.
It also, a sensitive topic, but maybe doesn't overextend Jamal Murray so much, too, just in terms of asking him to, like, a lower percentage of his minutes are futile and more can be about high impact alongside 15.
That's a great point.
And maybe, because sometimes he gets a little tired.
See, this is the thing is Murray might average 25 a game this year just on, if he's not the stagger, means all of his minutes come with Jokic.
Just playing with Jokic, just using all his energy there.
Yeah.
It could be that he bumps up just on that alone. Again, you could sub out Tim Hardaway Jr. for Julian Strawther here. I think those guys are in a position battle. I would give the edge to Tim Hardaway Jr., but you never know. You never know. And so maybe it's Strawther in that spot. The interesting question is if Cam is the stagger, who comes in for him, early on to give him a rest? And what's nice about this one is it could literally be any of the top 3 guys. Bruce Brown comes in. Christian, it's a 3-guard lineup, which we don't love, but Christian's big, so he can play that, and it gives you a lot of ball handling. Tim Hardaway Jr. comes in, same thing. Like now you have an extra shooter. He just replaced the shooting role, and he's probably going to get a lot of quick buckets. And if you put Peyton Watson there, that's the one where we saw last year CB, P Watt, AG lineups was like you start to have too little spacing.
Yeah.
But marginal improvement, it's at least possible. And defensively, CB, AG, P Watt, I just think that lineup would crush around Murray Jokic defensively.
Sure. Yeah, defensively, rebounding too.
So this one allows you to like have a set second line while not necessarily having who it comes in for. You know what I mean? Like it could be a night by night basis. And you're like, all right, someone go get Cam.
Right.
Bruce, it's you
Yeah,
tonight.
you can have a little mobility there.
Yeah. The last one here of the single stagger lineups. Bring it up, Kale. Aaron Gordon, the stagger. Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr. or Strother, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, Big Val. So your shooting is coming from Bruce and Tim Hardaway. Good, not great.
Huge lineup.
Good, not great. Very huge lineup. Peyton Watson and AG defensively gives you like a lot of length, and then Big Val. I think this one reminds me of the CB stagger a lot, where it's, man, I think this lineup would crush defensively.
Yeah.
But offensively, very hit or miss.
Yeah, for sure. Although, we saw a lot of AG playmaking last year.
That's
Ball
true.
handling, initiating things on offense. That went well at times. Bruce can do that as well. So maybe you have just enough offense to get by. I think AG can just do a little bit more of that than Christian Brown. But the size to me sticks out here. If you just think about other second units, maybe other than the Rockets when they go Steven Adams, Şengün. But for the most part, other second units are small.
Yeah.
They downsize off the bench. Peyton Watson is like normal sized for a backup four.
Yeah, he is.
For a lot of teams. So if you go to something like that, you could just bludgeon teams with size and dominate the boards.
My least favorite thing about it is just extending AG. Like on paper, I think it's great. I just don't. In a perfect world for AG, for me, healthy is the headline of this season.
But it almost wouldn't be more. I don't know if it'd be more or fewer minutes. It's going to be fewer with Jokic, which honestly, he's one of the. You said CB is your favorite Jokic guy. AG's right there for me too. Pick one. And if you take his minutes away from Jokic, I do wonder. I think Jokic, you play more stretchy lineups. Your defense goes off a cliff, but you're going to score every time.
Yeah.
But I do think that AG might have a rough statistical year.
Yeah, it's less about more minutes and more about like, okay, do you have to kind of force the issue in these minutes as opposed to
Yeah, you're
Right.
right.
Are you
in
putting
one-
more on him just responsibility wise with the offense?
Good point.
pushing it,
Yeah. I think so. All of these lineups are interesting. I think the Murray one might be my favorite. Cam Johnson second. The other two are almost a tie to me, CB and AG. I kind of hope it's not those two guys. If it's a one-player stagger, we're going to go to 2-player staggers here in a second. But to me, it would be Murray or Cam. And I hope that there's no answer to that early on. It's like, hey, we're going to try this for a bit. We're going to try that for a bit. Let's see.
Yeah. I hope they experiment too. I also kind of hope they land on Jamal being that guy. Because if that is what they land on, that means that lineup's working really well.
Yeah.
And building a bench lineup around Jamal, I still think is like the best possible outcome, just for next season.
it should now you at least have enough aggregate talent here, theoretical talent, to say you should, I think, should be able to make this work.
Yeah.
There was, I think, a strong defense of Murray. And this was an argument, I'm saying, not a lopsided defense, like a real argument. But okay, to some extent, it has to be the second option, leading those minutes without the big guy on the floor. That's what so many NBA teams are able to do, split their guys up, and it works. To some extent as well, they have been asking Murray to, put lipstick on a pig. And hopefully it's just a bit more of a, hey, do you want to play some basketball? And this might work. And Murray at his best, I think, can make it work.
It should be noted that if AG is the stagger, it's the only lineup where you really can't swap in De'Ron Holmes, in my opinion, or Zeke Naji. Because if your front court is Zeke Naji, Aaron Gordon, Big Val, I just think that's too big in the traditional way, not versatile.
Yeah, that's way
So all these other lineups, like you talk about, P. Watt's basically the 4 in the other configurations. You could easily swap in De'Ron Holmes if he's making his shots and guarding, or Zeke Naji if you need a little more size. And this one is the one where it's like if AG's on the court with Big Val, you're definitely going either with a shooter or you're going with P. Watt.
right, for sure.
So I kind of like it. I think I think that we'll see probably some configuration of Murray or Cam. And we'll probably see at least some minutes here with these other guys, even if it's not a ton. I will say, when we talk about the lineup earlier, Bruce, CB, Tim Hardaway Jr., P. Watt, Val, we worried about the shooting. DaRon Holmes is really a shooter and capable of playing this early in his career. He might overtake somebody like a P. Watt just to give a little more spacing.
I was
if
going
P.
to
Watt's
say,
not shooting.
I think the dark horse storyline of the season, rotation-wise, is that first lineup we looked at
Yeah.
with Hardaway Jr., in my opinion, over Strother, and then maybe Holmes stealing the 4 as a more natural fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think about the one thing DaRon could give you, like, has the best shot at giving you this season, it is shooting.
Yeah. I have a hard time thinking, though. The only thing I'll push back on that is Peyton Watson is far from a certain thing going into this next year. But I think that to me, I can envision him being a good enough defender in the playoffs. It's hard for me to picture DaRon Holmes being that. Maybe he surprises me.
I mean, he's got a long way.
No,
So if he plays all year and it's like, hey, we got out of here, now we're in the playoffs and you need to go check KD, I'd be like, but that's our plan?
Right.
That's how we beat Houston,
Right.
is DaRon Holmes is our ace in the hole?
That would ultimately be a negative outcome, I think. You would like Peyton to have won these minutes up.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, forget the one-player stagger. Let's talk about some two-player stagger options. Do that next.
Shout out to Miller Lite. They've been doing it since 1975. They've been the go-to beer since then. It is grilling season. It's park season. Get out, enjoy the sunshine. Do it with a Miller Lite. It's always Miller time. And it's also the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite this year. I know some of my best memories have been with a Miller Lite in hand. A lot of them have been doing this podcast with a Miller Lite in hand. It's a taste you can depend on. Great beer for grilling, trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. Simply put, just hits different, especially at the grill, surrounded by friends. Simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors, and that iconic golden color. Just 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces. It's the original light beer since 1975 and still iconic 50 years later. Great taste with Miller Lite. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/DNVR to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Just around the corner, folks, join DNVR for our 2025 Summer Pickleball Tournament, A Chicken and Pickle. This is on August 2nd at 10 a.m. $29 for an individual to sign up, $55 for a team sign up. Join us at the DNVR Pickleball Tournament benefiting Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Colorado at Chicken and Pickle in Thornton. It's going to be a day filled with fun, competition, and giving back to a great cause. Whether you're a pickleball pro or just starting out, this event is for everyone. Grab your paddle, gather your friends, and get ready to play your heart out for a good cause. Let's make a difference together while having a blast on the court. See you there. Sign up. DNVR.com.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I don't know if I'm playing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be there as well. It's like literally 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, yeah, got no excuse then.
Go to our
never
website, thednvr.com. You'll see an events tab, or just go to thednvr.com/events.
You know what? Maybe I will sign up.
D-Line's playing.
Yeah, rookie.
D-Line's on a team,
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
but he's a paddleball player.
Maybe I need a
He's a
ringer.
ringer.
Somebody who's
Yeah.
a ringer, let me know, man. I got to know. I suck
Ringer.
at tennis, or I've never played pickleball, but I probably suck
Racket
at that
sports.
too. Yeah, racket sports. I'm pretty
D-Line's
bad at.
How are you at
ace,
badminton?
man.
How are you at badminton?
Haven't played that one since my grandma's house back when I was
I'm
like 6.
bad at badminton, man.
Is that is competitive? Like
It's
you
an
can be
Olympic
good
sport,
at
buddy.
it?
It's an Olympic
I
sport.
know that, but I'm saying
Well,
like
I mean, that's competitive.
but I'm saying like pickleball is competitive. But do you know people that play badminton competitively?
I don't.
But have you ever heard of like, oh yeah, do you know who's really good at badminton?
What I'm
My buddy
arguing
Jim.
is that the Olympians who play badminton
yeah.
are doing that. That's what I'm saying.
There are some sports though. I even think this about handball, where I'm like, if I wanted to play handball, where could I go?
You're like, well, how can I get good at handball?
I might be a top 1,000 handball player ever, but only 500 people actually play.
Handball, kind of the sixth sport.
It actually is super
I
sick.
saw it in the Olympics once in Atlanta.
It was the best middle
Like
school
5
gym
years
sport
old.
of all
Wow.
time.
Yeah, I was like 5 years old.
Did you guys ever play it in gym class in middle
Handball?
school? Yeah.
No.
We
Do you guys
we had
play
team
that?
handball in middle
We
school.
didn't play
It was
that.
the best.
One day we need to just sit down and talk about our like elementary, because I feel like the East Coast has a whole different
vibe.
elementary
Right.
experience.
Whole
Did you guys do
different
the
element.
parachute?
That we did.
Oh, we did
Yeah,
parachute,
everybody
of
did
course.
parachute. I mean, come on, everybody's the
Come on,
Peter.
man.
We
Parachute.
had a little scooter, the square scooter.
Yeah,
I don't
we had
know
the scooters.
What
Yeah.
did you? What is that even about? I don't remember.
It was like a tag type of game thing.
Yeah, but it was just like, don't get your fingers pinched.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really all it
Yeah, the
was.
scooters were sick.
Yeah.
Back on topic, guys. What
Okay.
if they stagger 2 players? And this is where we start to get really filtered in different rotations. And I'm going to have the first one, Kale. Jamal Murray stays on. Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., or Peyton Watson, depending offense, defense. This one almost gives you flexibility game by game. You know, like you can kind of decide what you need. Cam Johnson, so that's your two-person stagger. Big Val. If you look at this, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, A-plus shooters. Tim Hardaway Jr., A-plus shooter. That could either be 3 A-plus shooters plus Bruce Brown, or you go to P-Watt, which I feel like still has enough spacing. So this lineup has some versatility to it. 2 guys off the bench, both of who in theory can score. No real defensive liabilities here other than maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. What do you think about this?
It's a great lineup. I mean, come on. This lineup would kill.
It should.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to... Whenever we have a split with the veterans they've signed and the kids, like right now I'm pro veteran. I just think Hardaway in that lineup would be an amazing fit.
You're sick of the last 2 years watching these kids get out there.
It's not even that. I'm like, and honestly, I do leave room for them to get better. That's the whole point. I just think you just have these actualized versions right now. Like for THJ, like, okay, shooting completes that lineup. Yeah. I understand, but it's weird because I agree with different trains of thought logically. Like as you go through rotation piece, I lean the veteran. But then if you were to say, well, P-Watt didn't play at all.
I don't know. Something happened with the camera.
Just keep going.
I'll
make it sound like I'm
P-Watt
talking.
didn't play at all unless there was a trade, that would feel like a waste as well. So I understand. I understand the kind of disconnect. I'm not even sure what could have happened.
Yeah, the battery.
Oh, it sounded like something fell.
Does it look like I'm talking on this camera now?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
I guess you're gonna have to talk now, big fella. We're back.
I don't. Here. I think I understand what you mean about the veterans, though, the young guys. Peyton Watson, year 4 player, though. Now there is something to like if he's gonna get over the hump, it's gonna be now. I think we probably would know in the first 2-3 months.
And feel wasteful not to play him. I get it.
Yeah.
And I like this lineup to me. Murray, Bruce, Cam, great shooting. If you just think about what does this look like offensively, Murray and Big Val probably running some pick and roll. You have Bruce Brown spacing. You have Cam Johnson spacing. You might not need another third spacer. It does help. It does make life easier. You might need some defense here because Murray, Cam, Val, not defensive stalwarts. Bruce can play some defense.
Yeah.
If it's Tim Hardaway Jr., you're really thin on defense. Peyton Watson steps in. But again, this could be a lineup that has the flexibility to decide. By the way, you could even maybe throw Bruce to the side on this one. Throw Tim Hardaway Jr. in there and P-Watt at the 3.
And you know, Harrison, what some teams did in this playoffs, including 2 teams that went all the way to the final round, literally in a playoff scenario went, it could be this guy or it could be this guy based off your lineups.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, I think offense is more important than defense with the bench. Like these bench lineups they're going against. Yeah, sometimes there's a, Jamal Murray of the other team that gets thrown out there, but Cam Johnson can survive defensively. Tim Hardaway Jr. can survive defensively. Like I think they'll be fine on that end.
We go to another 2-player stagger here. Let's go to Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., Aaron Gordon, Big Val.
Yeah, this lineup could probably get the 4 seed in the East.
Is this Is this not the playoff bench?
I mean, this is still a 9-man. I guess it is an 8-man bench, possibly. Aaron Gordon in the dunker, Big Val setting screens for Murray and rolling, posting up on the elbows. Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway are in your corners. I mean, this lineup makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, that's great.
Is it crazy that last year we did this experiment, we couldn't find a single lineup that made sense? And this one, half of them, we've been like, I kind of like it.
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's a good lineup right there.
That lineup, bring her back up for one more second, Kale, because this lineup presumes that you probably moved Cam Johnson to the 4 next to Jokic for some minutes, and you probably ran Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe somebody else sneaks in there for a little bit.
This
which
seems
also
like
works.
A lineup you'll rely on in the playoffs.
I think is the playoff bench. Yeah, I mean, like as far as a stiff structured on paper,
Right.
There's not a lot of flexibility here other than Julian Strawther and Tim Hardaway's spot. Like you could see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could see Peyton Watson there because, again, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, Big Val, very tough 3-4-5 for you for spacing purposes. So that one. But yeah, absolutely. Adelman almost has the opposite problem that Malone had. Malone would not experiment with anything because there were no good options. So he just picked one of the bad options and played the note over and over again. Adelman might have a lot of good options, and it's like, hey, you got to see all of them
and find the very best one.
But here's the thing. I don't know that there is a best one. I just think there is a best for situations. And that's why it's like you need all of these to be tried out through the course of the year.
Yeah. That's why this season's going to be so exciting, man. There's so many options to go with. There's so much versatility. There's weapons all over the roster. And I mean, all these lineups we've thrown out there, it would be the best bench lineup that they had last season by far.
Yeah.
So all the options you've got, it's automatically going to be an upgrade over last season. And that's the starting point. That's a great starting point.
Well, it keeps getting, there's still more good options ahead. Let's go to this next one, Kale. Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon. So your staggers are your 3 and your 4. And then Big Val. So in this lineup, Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson become secondary or even primary playmakers. Like you can play through either of those guys as well as Bruce. You do have shooting in Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown. You do have defense in Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon, with Cam hopefully being able to do a little bit here. It's another lineup that I actually think makes sense.
I think the biggest question with the bench and the biggest question with these lineups we've thrown out, can Bruce Brown be a backup point guard full-time?
But again, that's why I'm putting him with Cam Johnson and Aaron Gordon. Because he brings the ball up and throws it to AG, brings the ball up, throws it to Cam.
Can he do that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because if you're worried about, like, you go against OKC, Cason Wallace, full court press, or Alex Caruso, AG brings the ball up. Mm-hmm. Most teams don't have a guy that can bother AG 90 feet. And if they do, they're compromised. And, if you break it. Cam Johnson maybe is not bringing the ball up every time, but he is a guy that can help. Mm-hmm. That release it to me. They're trapping you, release it to me. I know what to do.
Yeah.
I think it would require some really good work from the staff with the dynamic you guys are talking about. Like playmaking in the aggregate, which does sound nice in theory. But then just in your best half-court set, what does it look like as far as who are your primary creators? What does it look like to get them the ball? How do we flow from there? Kale's having a good time in the chat. It's okay. You're good. I like when you laugh,
a little
Kale.
aroused right now.
So that kind of the aggregate playmaking thing is a thing that can exist, but has to be brought to the surface. So that's one that I think the staff would have to bring their best work.
Mm-hmm.
The last one I have for you guys, actually I have 2 more. The next one is a CB stagger here. If you go with Bruce Brown, CB, Cam Johnson, Peyton Watson, Big Val. I like the defense of this lineup, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and Bruce Brown. I think that's a good defensive lineup. Offensively, you're really either counting on Peyton Watson coming back a shooter. Like that guy can be in the corner and you can count on it. Or Christian Brown has leveled up his individual creation to where he's running pick and roll and being a more aggressive. One of those things has to happen. But at the same time, it's not crazy for me to think that's possible.
Not a ton of ball handling. That's the one concern probably. You've got defense for sure. Probably can have enough shooting with Cam and, Bruce and Christian improved as a shooter last season. But the ball handling would be a question for me.
Yeah, I think you're asking the most in terms of hopefulness with this lineup.
Yeah,
you could get
I think
there,
so too.
Get there in terms of seeing it, but I think the most mental gymnastics is required probably.
I think you're probably right on that. All right, let's go to this last one. This one is probably the most mental gymnastics. You thought that one was? I think this one is.
Here we
Bruce
go.
Brown, Christian Brown, one of Strother, Tim Hardaway Jr., Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, and Big Val. So your non-shooters in this one are Big Val.
Look at that
AG shot 40%
monstrosity.
last year. Christian Brown, 40%. Like these guys can shoot maybe, but not really. And then Bruce Brown and then Strother.
Aaron Gordon, the Nuggets' best shooter in 2K. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. What the heck, man? This lineup defensively could be a beast, especially if you threw P-Watt out there. But if you had P-Watt, you're not getting any stops. It's intriguing, man.
Yeah, it's all intriguing.
Here's what this lineup tells me, Vogt, because I know you're not feeling it, and you probably shouldn't.
No, I'm fixated on the mutant that
mutant.
Kale put together, but I'm listening.
But here's the thing. There's injuries throughout the course of the year, and inevitably you're forced to throw out some compromised lineups.
Yeah.
As far as compromised lineups go, not that bad.
That's what I'm saying, man. Every option you have is just so much better than last year.
That I agree with. Even the most uneasy lineup you present me with, I go, last year we would think, that's an upgrade. So again, in this scenario, to me, if it's the 3 guys, I would say it's probably Tim Hardaway Jr. for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think you could make this work. Yes. You have a lot of defense. And if you go P-Watt, the ball handling shooting question is there, but you're getting stops.
I think this exercise shows, I mean, you could end up doing like more 3-player staggers and this or that. Like, honestly, Jokic, the one thing we feel really good about is that Jokic can make lineups good. So if you gave him like Jokic and CB and everybody else is off the court, give Jokic 3 bench guys, it's like that would work too.
For sure.
And now you get into very easy to make bench units. Murray, Cam Johnson, and Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good lineup.
Yeah.
You know, like it's easy to do those. So I just look at this and I go, I think Denver is sitting very pretty right now, and they can do a variety of things that all excite me. There's a handful of them that I'm like, it might not work, but worth it.
If I'm the Nuggets coaching staff, man, they're doing this exact exercise this offseason too.
Yeah, like probably.
What the graphics we just laid out, they're probably coming up with the exact same graphics.
Dude.
I don't know about that Hardaway, Strother, Watson mashup. They might have something different for that, but they're doing this exact same exercise.
Malone's probably doing it just out of. I was like, so I would have. See, this would have worked.
Yeah. So I think it's all good stuff, man. And I think it's a cool thing to look at and just say, I'm not ready for this prediction yet, but I'll tell you one that's percolating.
Okay.
It's like an egg I'm incubating right now. It might
Okay,
hatch sometime around late September. I think the Nuggets non-Jokic minutes will be plus this year. I really do. I think they're going to be a plus, and maybe like a good plus, like a +3, like a +4, something like that. And if that's the case, I just think Nuggets are winning 58 games or more.
Dude, if that's the case, they might win more than that.
Consistently good bench, not just like every now and then it's a good bench, a consistently good bench that you like always know is going to be decent, never going to get blown out.
I mean, if the starters are in any type of serious way, like state of manner, and the bench wins their minutes, you're not beating the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Just like straight up, your blueprint is out the window.
Yeah, you had a good time. You had a nice try. The other thing about this is you're hopeful that, I mean, there's an emotional stress that you saw it on Jokic's face. How many times did they pan to him when he checked out of the game and we're 2 minutes into the second quarter? The Nuggets just blew a 10-point lead and he's sitting there like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah.
That's you can just see the emotion drain out of him.
Yeah.
So there was that, but there's also how many times did we see Jamal Murray played 40 minutes tonight on some random game because they had to get somebody in there to stop the bleeding. And your hope is that there's just so many fewer of those, so many fewer games where you felt like, sorry, I know you wanted 6 minutes rest. 3's going to have to do because we need you out there.
And to the point you were making earlier, Adam, about rather than picking one of these lineups, kind of trying them out. Here's the reality. There's going to be stretches where Aaron Gordon goes, lower body's a little sore, or Jamal Murray says the same thing. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And do you have this sort of flexibility as a group to go, all right, we'll throw this one out there for this month or this 2-week stretch, right? And see what that yields. Adelman has, like, he's taking this job. He's the new chef in a restaurant, and they're like, hang out a bit. We're going to upgrade the kitchen. We're going to get you some new ingredients. And he's coming back to work, and it's like, oh man, this is something to work with. Like, I'm excited.
You got the Viking
to create.
stove now.
Yeah. He's gonna make some good tasting food, I think.
You guys want to take a stroll down memory lane?
Oh, please.
We need like some nostalgic music.
We're
Can we find a
corner.
nostalgic little song or one of those that are our servers? Well, yeah. For the next time, just something that makes us really like the Wonder Years theme song or something like that.
Yeah, something that doesn't get us copyrighted as well.
Yeah, so not that.
Best
so
of luck.
definitely not that.
Best of luck with this exercise.
Let's go back and let's relive the Jokic era 1 year at a time. Today, let's go back to that rookie season because I know not everybody was around for it. Even you guys. When did you join the beat?
I was here.
Where were you? Did you join the beat?
Yeah.
I thought it was the next year.
I was on the beat.
You were on the beat that first year?
I was on the beat.
What about you,
Part-time.
Yeah, so you
Very
were
part-time.
You hadn't yet been inspired by Jokic.
I was working another job in another life as well.
Yeah. I got really started in 17. I saw him get the starting job in 16. I was like, I'm going to Denver.
You're going there.
Yeah.
Here's what happened that year. Jokic's rookie season. He, of course, got drafted the year before, but was stashed in Europe. Here's what's funny, man, because I remember this time very well. He was not on my radar. I know the Nuggets drafted him, and obviously he got on my radar in Summer League, but it wasn't one of those things where it's like, Kamagate was on our radar because they drafted him and stashed, and so you're kind of aware, how's he doing?
Right. Just remember that guy. Yeah. Nostalgia corner. He's in a good
Radicevic.
Radicevic, one of the guys. Jokic, to me, like at that time, I was just thinking he's a second-round pick and a stash. He probably sucks. I'm not even following the Adriatic League.
But I didn't even know how basketball worked back then.
But I do, because I was also, this was my first year on the beat, so that's why I wasn't sure. This is my first year, so I wasn't following the Nuggets that closely, like to that level of detail to know their second round picks. And I remember there were people who were pointing out, including one Tim Conley, who was like, you're going to like this guy's passing. He just had a monster year. We thought he was good, but we didn't know he was this good.
Yeah.
So Jokic was not coming in with almost any hype, but there were there's more people who are passionate and deep in the weeds in the NBA now than there were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And at that time, there weren't that many people that were buzzing about the guy who just won the Adriatic League. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
It does.
Like if that happened today, you'd know who the Adriatic League MVP was if he was coming over to the
If Kamagate
NBA.
won the MVP of
for
his
sure.
league, we'd be like, this guy's a player.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Somewhere a Charlotte's Hornets podcast was like, Micic?
You're right. But he was at least old. If it was like a 20-year-old guy,
Dude,
that
we would have been
drafted,
going crazy.
and he was triple doubles and stuff.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot. But what was buzzing that year, first and foremost, well, there's two things. Michael Malone was the new coach. Brian Shaw was a disaster. You had George Karl for all those years, then you had Brian Shaw. He was a disaster.
Wish I could have seen that.
And then you got Michael Malone, and it was like, all right, new blood. And he was a big personality immediately. You kind of, knew. So there was some excitement there. But the other thing was Emmanuel Mudiay. He was the big story of that year. And let me tell you guys something I distinctly remember from this time. One of the, because everybody, all the beat reporters write their stories about, here's the topic. The story was Mudiay, really tough because he's the youngest of three brothers. And his brothers used to always be so physical with him. They had played basketball in this metal cage. And
that reminds me of somebody else.
isn't it hilarious that the actual story was Jokic, who was tough because of his older brothers, but it was really the story just told at the wrong protagonist.
Well, it was also, the story was also Mudiay was NBA ready because he had played a year in China.
In a pro league with grown men.
He had an NBA body.
Yeah,
By the way,
he really did have an NBA
honestly,
body.
like,
Well, but he wasn't strong or
say,
tough.
70% of this stuff should have checked out, It just, it did not, obviously.
I will say this, Jokic ends up going to Mega Basket. He gets great training. He develops in those formative years. Mudiay reminds me a little bit of Peyton Watson in this one way. He went to Prime Prep, ended up getting canceled because the whole thing, there was embezzlement or something, some nefarious thing going on. And so then he was ineligible to go to SMU, play for Larry Brown. He had to go to China. So he really had two developmental years that got disrupted that were really important. And maybe he would have been a better player, probably not. His debut of that season, his debut that year, Emmanuel Mudiay, 17 points, 9 assists.
We were buzzing.
11 turnovers.
Yeah. We were like, who cares about the turnovers?
And who cares?
Turns out that would be a problem.
Then it was never fixed.
It was against the Rockets, I remember.
Dude, for people that don't know, Emmanuel Mudiay, number 7 pick, a lot of excitement because it's like, all right, we're starting a new era. We got this young guy who was the number 1 point guard a year before.
Guard.
He's tall, he's big. From the Congo, which was where Dikembe's from. So maybe there's a connection, we're all reliving old glories. And so there was some weird buzz there. But here's something I want to say. A lot of people, including on this panel, one guy in particular who's not here, and I happen to agree with it, give Malone a lot of credit for developing and discovering Jokic and being the guy that identified it. Jokic that night played a handful of minutes, scored 2 points. You know who started at center?
Joffrey Laverne.
Joffrey Laverne,
Yeah.
who was also a young prospect. This wasn't like, it went to Marcus Camby, the veteran, because he was established.
Yeah.
There were two guys that were basically rookies, and Joffrey Laverne got the start for for a good portion of that season.
Right.
He was horrible.
That elbow jumper, man. That was kind of cash.
Listen, imagine it's like a Malone treatment of any other young guy. He just didn't know he was talking to the third best player of all time, possibly. He was like, listen, man, you just got to play some defense.
Dude, I'll never forget. There was a preseason game that year against the Clippers, and Chris Paul just tormented Mudiay in that game. Yeah. I'll never forget that. And at that moment, I was like, shit, this could be a long year.
I give a lot of credit to Malone for the development of and all those different things. I give it to him. But I just also want to point out that he started Nurkic over him, first alongside him, then over him in his second year. And in his first year, Joffrey Laverne, also a rookie, was like, yeah, that's our best center. Let's roll him out there. Played 6 minutes.
Was that Laverne's second year?
Because he came over halfway through the year. Remember
the year before when Malone wasn't even the coach?
When he wasn't even the coach. So
that's kind of crazy.
He barely played.
Yeah. I get starting Nurkic or wanting to try Nurkic there because he's the first round pick. And that's just more how teams thought back then.
Yeah.
I think that was they had more tunnel vision with that stuff. But
Joffrey Laverne wasn't like
Joffrey Laverne playing
and
over
it wasn't
him.
like he was a lottery pick.
Totally.
The Nuggets have
he was a second rounder.
Yeah,
too.
he was nothing
25th.
also. And it was just also he had to. So I'm just pointing that out because he was a little.
He was the 55th overall pick.
He was worse than
barely a
Jokic.
second rounder.
Worse than Jokic somehow. The storyline, one of the other storylines that people forget is that Will Barton really was one of the most exciting things because he came over halfway through that season and he was phenomenal. And so going into that year, you were really excited because Nurkic played great. He was hurt and he was going to end up missing most of that year. But you were excited about the young core of Nurkic and Will Barton because Will Barton came over and was awesome in his half year. So Will Barton, people forget this, but he was actually one of the reasons to be excited about the Nuggets in that year.
Also, remember Damian Lillard was sick that he lost Will Barton.
He loved him. He loved him.
kept
They
talking
were
about how
friends.
good he was in practice and how they needed a player like him.
Kenneth Faried was a big story, as was Gallinari. Those were kind of the guys. Wilson Chandler missed the entire season because of injury that year, so he was out the entire time. And then here's a funny one for you. Danilo Gallinari led all players in pay. He had the highest paid contract on the roster. What would you guess it is?
I'm gonna guess.
This was 11 years ago.
I'm gonna guess 15 million.
What do you guess, Vote?
17.
$14 million
Yeah.
was the most paid guy.
Nice
He
guess.
is getting Zeke Naji money, and he was
Right.
the highest paid guy.
Oh, Lord.
This league's out of control. That's why when people freak out over this stuff, I'm like, guys, the money has gotten weird in this last decade.
I mean, the salary cap then was
So
probably
weird.
what, like 60 million.
It's insane now. So here we are. The breakout game for Jokic, though, everybody remembers this. November 18th against the Spurs. Nuggets kind of getting blown out for most of this game.
November 18th.
November 18th.
That is
earlier.
so early in the season.
Earlier than you think. I'm telling you, Jokic didn't play until hit. He's like, you go through his logs, it's like 10 minutes, 6 minutes, 30 seconds. And you're like, oh my God. Then he plays a real game, gets 23 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 0 assists. Jokic's breakout game, he
They were
had
just
0
posting
assists.
him up, telling him to score. Get in the post, 7-footer.
It was a lot of pick, roll to the basket, shoot the little floaters, you know, like he just kept doing that. He had some nice steals and blocks on one Boris Diaw. It was pretty nice. It was the start of an 8-game losing streak, though.
Right. That probably didn't help. Losing player. Empty stats.
And then third in Rookie of the Year rankings behind Karl Anthony Towns and Kristaps Porzingis.
That's what's crazy. He was third in Rookie of the Year.
And didn't play till like the 18th,
And then there was a question about should we start this guy or like should he be our center? He was third in Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. It was. I will say this. That was a conversation for other people.
Right.
Jokic was so fun that first year. I think his second and third years to me are my favorite just because it was all new and it felt like he was leveling up literally every single night.
Yeah.
But even the first year, it was a lot of fun. A funny little sidebar. Moutier had a horrible rookie year.
Terrible.
7th in Rookie of the Year voting. It just shows you Rookie of the Year voting is about did you play minutes?
Right. Right.
Really quickly, you were mentioning how the salaries have changed, and it made me flash back to the 2016 salary cap spike. So you said Danilo Gallinari made 14 annually.
Yeah.
So Alan Crabb, remember
Right.
that caught 4 years, 75.
Oh my God, yes.
Brooklyn Nets offer sheet.
Like basically Zeke Naji just somehow spiritually caught a 2016 offer
Yeah.
and is living
Without a
off that.
salary cap spike.
Yeah. That was just a crazy list to go over. I don't want to derail the whole show, but that was a weird year.
Yeah, man.
It really is weird, man.
Timothy Mozgov, 4 years, 64.
The last note I have here is
the Lakers gave
Mike
him
Miller was on the roster that year. Really cool. I think Mike Miller played a sneaky small role. Like he was one of the first to see Jokic. I thought he was a phenomenal locker. Like we talk about DeAndre Jordan's been good at this. There's been guys that have taken on that role. Mike Miller was really good at that, I think.
Well, and there's a story from that year where Tim Connolly calls Mike Miller during training camp and goes, "What are your thoughts on the team?" And he goes, "Number 15's your best player."
Yeah.
Such a great.
Mike Miller
That's
tells,
a Mike Miller story, though. I will say this. That's
That's Mike Miller's side of the story. He's like, he said third best player, but we'll give it to
it's
Mike.
like LeBron, and he's like, I was like, Kobe's
my
gonna
favorite
score.
saying.
Kobe's gonna score 81 tonight. I said it.
Yeah. According to Mike Miller, he knew Yoke was that. He
So
knew he was that guy in training camp.
I remember this year being very fun. I remember Jokic being really exciting, by far my favorite part of it. But I by no means felt like I saw what was coming because the other pieces were still like clunky, and Gary Harris was kind of not that big of a story this year, a little bit, but
Well,
not
Gary
that big.
was coming off. He was a rookie of the year before.
Didn't really play
and
much.
he had a historically bad rookie
Yeah,
season as
that's
well.
right, yeah.
Historically bad.
So he had some
Yeah.
stuff
What
going,
a
but it
weird
wasn't
career
until the
Gary
next
had.
one that it really took off. You were kind of in this hybrid. Gallo, Fareed, Wilson Chandler, but then all these young guys. It was like this weird moment. J.J. Hickson's on the team still that year. Very, very weird one. But humble beginnings, modest beginnings. Super chat scale.
I didn't know what I was watching because I had no idea, like, even how basketball works back then.
I know.
I was like, yeah, he's, maybe like stretch big off the bench.
Yeah. You're like you even had a list of like best perimeter defenders on the team. You're like, I don't know, man.
I had no idea even how to watch basketball or what it was.
Buckets. Which, by the way, how a lot of people watch basketball for a long time. Big Honey 15, wondering if you guys saw Jason Timpf's right. I wasn't trying to joke. I messed that one up a lot. Ranking of Jamal as the 25th best player. Such a contrast to some Nuggets fans who think he's some sort of bum.
Well, first of all, 25th, I think he goes between 25th and 40th, and all those guys are really tight. We do have to go to overtime. So if you guys are watching us on our fast channel, go to the internet now. It's information superhighway. To me, like if you go through and see who is 26, 27, 28, 29, it's a bunch of guys that you're like, yeah, I mean,
on a good night, they're 25th. On a bad night, they're 35th.
To me, and I sincerely believe this, the thing about Jamal is that at his best, he's the 16th best player in the NBA.
Sure.
At his worst, he's the 50th. And at his average, sadly, in my opinion, he's somewhere around like 35th. But the truth is, that's the guy I hope we see this year, like every night, because yes, he is that good. Didn't he climb in Ringer ranking after the finals to like 17th?
Yeah.
Which felt
right.
It was a possible make or break moment for him.
Totally.
It felt like. Okay, she loved Tommy. She loved Tommy. Jokic makes anyone better. Why be locked into a one-starter stagger? Give Jamal more help with Cam or AG on the second side. Obviously, we did eventually get to that.
Yep.
2 to 3 bench guys plus Jokic is still great.
It is true. There is something too, though. Like, here's another thing about these staggers. Players don't love to stagger, man. Like, players on the Nuggets liked the Jokic minutes. It's a sacrifice not to play him. It's a sacrifice. So if you're AG or you're Jamal or you're any of these guys, there is a like, hey, we want you to stagger. You're like, I don't want to, man. I don't want to be the guy who's minus 14 and I don't get all the shots. I want to be the guy who shoots 43%. Like I want to be that.
But isn't there the other side of the coin where you're not playing with Jokic so you can cook a little bit?
But who are the cookers on the Nuggets?
Well, I would think Jamal would say that and be like, okay, like this is my time.
I mean, he's done it enough that he doesn't cook. I'm in the corner.
Bones?
Where's Bones? I'm going to go to the corner.
AG's looking around. He's like, this looks suspiciously like Orlando. This guy sucks.
So I think, like MPJ maybe, guys like that. But I don't know that Cam Johnson. I think these guys will sacrifice. But I'm just telling you, it is a sacrifice to do.
But I do think a big part of that is because the mentality with the bench for the last several years has been, and this is from what Michael Malone has said, it's been, let's just get stops and run in transition.
Yeah.
That's been the extent of their mindset with the second unit.
Really is true.
So it's really on Adelman to, whether it's different plays or just a different offensive identity or just a different thought process with the bench. That can totally change up the thinking there too.
All right, cue up that outro music, KL. Everybody, we appreciate you hanging with us on this Tuesday. Fun conversation. I will tell you on Friday.
It was a good show.
Present day.
Yeah. People have been sending us stuff. We've got a couple different boxes to open. We're going to start doing those on Friday.
So if you want to send us something, you can either bring it here to the bar directly, let us know you're coming, we'll come accept it, or you can try to like FedEx it or UPS it or whatever it is the kids are doing these days. Send it to us because Friday we're going to unbox a bunch of gifts we've received.
Probably still FedEx or UPS. I don't know if that one's been.
You don't think that one's been upended?
I don't know if they have their own secret.
Well, it was the Pony Express for a while. Then it kind of changed over, so it could be.
You're right. Hey, you're right.
Everybody, hit that like button for us on the way out.
Silly like the mayor.